Welcome to the Gateway to the Weekend. It is Friday, and you are joining us for the November announcements. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin, and I want to welcome you all. Let's do a quick round of shout outs before we get started. I've got John, Jay Cure, Jonathan, Jason, Donnie, Jeremy, Angela Crawford, Jonathan, DJ Model Works is in the house, BN Green 1970, and Ozzy, just to name a few. So, want to welcome you all. This is one of those great weekends, or Fridays rather, because you still have a chance to pre order all of those things that we talked about in October. And today you can start pre ordering the things that we're going to talk about today. Now, I see a lot on social media, I see it every day. Like a lot of you guys are saying, oh, Athearn only does modern stuff. Well, we've got something for you guys that do first generation diesels. And then I hear a lot of guys say, man, you never do any new freight cars. Well, we've got a brand new freight car here for you today in HO. And we've also got another one that's been heavily redesigned for HO. And then I hear some guys that are into N scale saying we never do anything new in N scale. Well, we've got something for you today as well. So I've got a lot of ground to cover. And I know you guys are getting excited. Let's do one more round of shout outs and then we're going to get started. So I've got Keegan, Rico, Stephen, George, Claire, Randall, and Ron, and Angela. And I'm going back to see if I've missed anybody. Oh, we got KCG Railfan. Chandler is here. Great group of folks joining us today. Now, if you're catching this on the YouTube channel later, not live, I want to welcome you for joining us. And everything that you're going to see here today is available for pre-order starting today, which happens to be Friday the 28th. And you have until the day after the United States celebrates Thanksgiving. That is the 25th of November. So without further ado, let's get started. And if you have any questions, try to save it for the end of the program. I'll try to get a few questions in before we end for the day. So, Keegan, this one's for you. We have some AC 4400s. Now, I'm not going to go deep down the path of prototype information. I'm just going to show you guys what we're offering. But first up, Heritage 2, Burlington Northern Santa Fe. 3 different road numbers are going to be available. This is perfect for you guys that are doing the early BNSF, 1 year before they adopted their new paint scheme and their new logo. So AC 4400s, Heritage 2. A lot of guys have emailed us, and the product suggestion and Ferromix continues to be strong. And man, what a cool paint scheme. I really do enjoy this paint scheme. We're going to offer this as it appeared in 1999 in 3 different road numbers. For our Canadian Pacific fans, we're going to be running the dual flag scheme of the CP rail, as well as the special RCMP artwork that was featured on number 9500. So 3 different road numbers. This is appropriate for 1995 on up. Now, here's one that you probably didn't think we were going to do. Quebec Cartier Railway, 3 different road numbers. We'll talk more about this in depth in Train Tuesday coming up. But how many saw this one coming? Unique railroad we wanted to feature this time. And of course, Union Pacific. Now, we did something a little bit different for you guys. We know there's 2 Union Pacific fans out there. There's the red sill era, and then there's the later yellow sill. So we've got 2 for you. So if you're a UP fan that is modeling in the late 90s, you've got your red sill. For those modeling after 2006, specifically around 2017, before a lot of these were retired, we have the yellow sill. Now, briefly, these are going to have all of the features that you've grown accustomed to with the AC 4400s and the Dash 9s before them. All the lighting features are going to be there. The lighting features such as the lit number boards, the walkway lights, both the front and rear walk lights are going to be functional. Where appropriate, they're going to have truck lights and, of course, your headlights and your ditch lights. Now, if you do get the Tsunami 2, you also get the dual Sugar Cube speakers, a really cool setup. And I know this is going to be popular with a lot of you guys. Pretty much a modern locomotive, if you want to think about it. I know they're not as uh, new as some of the other locomotives out there, but it was a highly requested locomotive. We wanted to give it another run, and especially for you Union Pacific guys and BNSF guys. All right, so for the guys that are into more of your first generation diesels, I've got a treat for you, and that's going to be our Genesis GP7s. So let me go ahead and get that up here. All right, so here we go. We're going to be starting out with the GP7s for the Santa Fe. Now, we're doing a couple of different versions here. We're doing both the A units and the B unit. We're also doing a mid-1970s prime for grime. So that basically means the bookend blue, as you see here, is going to be a little bit faded. It's going to be a faded look. Now, it's real hard for us to capture that with the ink, and in this case, the digital version. But this will be a real lighter yellow, real lighter blue. So for you guys that are modeling Santa Fe in the early to mid 70s, that'll be perfect for you. For the guys that are modeling these in the 60s, these would be a new paint scheme. Originally, these came in the zebra stripes, the black and the silver, which was a standard scheme for this locomotive. Santa Fe went to this one here because it was a little bit easier on maintenance as far as cost and stenciling and things of that nature. And really one of the more attractive paint schemes, really, of the Santa Fe. So we're offering 3 A units and 1 B unit. For you Conrail guys, this is really neat that we're doing these. These Conrail locomotives, there's 3 different types. They're all former Reading locomotives. Now that means that they're going to run long hood forward, which means the front is right here. These are all based on Reading locomotives. Of course, Conrail took over Reading. And so we're offering these as they appeared right after they had been freshly painted in the mid to late 70s. And you can see there's some variations here. Our researchers had a lot of fun doing these. We'll talk about the specifics of these locomotives on an upcoming Train Tuesday. We're also going to release the Western Pacific. We're doing 3 road numbers for this. This is a road that continues to be very popular. So we wanted to offer it again with new road numbers. And remember, we were talking about the Reading. Well, for the first time ever, we're going to do Reading locomotives. Now, we haven't done the Reading in GP7s in the Genesis line ever. This is all brand new. There's some new features that we packed into these, and we'll talk about those on Train Tuesday. But for you guys that have been waiting for an as-delivered Reading locomotive, here you go. We're going to offer that in 3 different road numbers. All right, if anybody got my hint the other day about it being harvest season from Maine to California, well, part of that was this first locomotive, number 563. This is a Maine Central GP7 in the Harvest Yellow, Harvest Gold paint scheme. Now, we have worked with some accomplished authors and published folks on this color. So we have been assured that this is going to be accurate. And something else that we haven't done before, we did the Maine Central GP7s many years ago in the pine green with the multi-stripe, but we had never done the simplified stripe. And for the first time, we're offering it in the simplified stripe, which came out about the late 60s. Now the Harvest Gold, mid 70s on this, but you can actually run both paint schemes simultaneously in the 1970s. In fact, 563 stayed pretty much like this until the Guilford era. So there you have it for the GP7s. I know a lot of you guys, especially on the both coasts, are going to be really happy about those. And let's see, let's get to our next most exciting announcement, it seems. And this is new for us, brand new car. Here we have the NSC 6400s. Now we started sharing information about this back in September. We are well along the way of getting these finished up. You'll be seeing more information about these in the coming weeks and months. But this is a brand new car. Now we're going to talk more about this in the coming weeks on Train Tuesday. But these are modern gondolas. They're a higher side gondola than what we've had in the past. And this is the first modern car we've done in quite a while. Now, most of these are based on an era of anywhere between 2012 all the way up into the present day. And we've picked the most popular road names. And we're offering these in singles as well as a 2-pack. So it's going to be a little bit easier to make these into a unit train if you want to, or they can just go in a standard freight manifest, whatever you like. But for this time, we're going to offer them as singles as well as a 2-pack. Now, there's a lot here to get into, but what we want to let you know right off the bat, there's 9 different variations that we're offering. The build range is from 2006 all the way to present day. There's going to be multiple body styles, multiple detailed end variations, and this is all based on the prototype. These are probably one of our most advanced freight car designs to date. Multiple different details, all based on the prototype, and these are going to have removable loads. So a lot of buzz when we started introducing these back in September. Here are the actual road names that we're going to do along with the road numbers. You can find this on our website, athearn.com, by going to the new releases. And this PDF is available there for your viewing. And I know a lot of guys out there are really excited about these. We'll probably be pre-ordering these. Coming up next, staying within the Genesis line, is another freight car. Going back a little bit, this would be more in line with the guys that are probably thinking about these GP7s we just talked about. And that is the GATC 2600 Airslide hoppers. Now, pretty much these are going to be 1960s, 1970s, but we do have one from Missouri Pacific that is appropriate for 1984 on up. You'll also notice that the Missouri Pacific version is a 2-car set. Now, technically, by Missouri Pacific standards, there was a drawbar attached to these 2 cars, and when operated this way, they were technically 1 car. We'll talk a little bit more about that in an upcoming Train Tuesday, but we're offering this 2-car set in 3 different road numbers. And this is appropriate for 84 on up. But we've also got some Northern Pacific, Santa Fe, Delaware, and Hudson, and Pennsylvania. So a good mix of cars, good mix of eras. We've also got Revere Sugar. So for you guys that are modeling the 50s into the 60s, maybe you've got a bakery on your layout, this is perfect for you. We're still not done with Genesis products. We've got some more Genesis for you. We're bringing the PCNF 50-foot boxcar, this time with the 8-foot 8x8 Youngstown doors. I'll zoom in a little bit on these so you can see them. We're offering the Southern Pacific, and I know Southern Pacific is popular with a lot of you guys out there, but we're offering them in 3 different styles. Now, these are all appropriate for the late 1970s, but for you SP fans, you can see here we're offering a couple of different variations in either 2 different road numbers. In the case of the large Hydra cushion, we're doing that in 1 road number. The standard Southern Pacific car, we're doing it in 3 different road numbers. And then the Evergreen, we're doing that in 6 different road numbers. Now, for you guys that are doing a little bit more modern, or maybe you want to do something freelance, we're also offering a data only. A couple of you guys were asking in previous Train Tuesdays, as well as our comments in Facebook and Instagram, for data only cars. Here you are. A lot of guys looking for those data only cars. They come in real handy. Well, let's talk about the first Athearn release of November. This is also going to be an HO car. And we're going to stick with covered hoppers. These are PS2 covered hoppers. And again, nice range of dates, but they're going to mainly stick around about the 60s and 70s. We've got the Santa Fe, the Baltimore and Ohio, Burlington Northern, Florida East Coast, Rock Island, and the Wabash. Again, we'll talk about these in detail at next Train Tuesday. But we're offering these as 2 different singles as well as a 3-pack. These are nice models. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit about them in a future Train Tuesday, but some metal etched roof walks, some separately applied details. We'll get into that on an upcoming Train Tuesday. End scale, guys, bear with me. We're almost there. I have another freight car I want to show you, and this one's really exciting too, because this one is it's been redesigned, but it's almost a brand new car. And that's the FMC boxcars, the 5327s. Now, these are not just a redo of the old roundhouse cars. This is all new tooling, and these are going to have accurate dimensions. If you're familiar with the older roundhouse models that we had years ago, dimensions weren't quite right. They were a product of their generation. Now, with modern injection molded processes, we can offer these in a much better accurate look and dimension, and some upgrades as well. So we're offering these lines here in both standard paint as well as prime for grime. It's got Bayline, Canadian Pacific, Minnesota, Dakota, and Western, New Orleans Public Belt, and look at that, another Quebec. 3 different road numbers. A lot of work's gone into these. Again, these are not the old 5327s. These are brand new. To you guys that are modeling anywhere from the 1970s up into present day, these are perfect for your layout. All right. End scale, guys. I have 2 things for you. We're going to go right into something new. This is in our Genesis line. And this is the N-scale Genesis version of the GATC 2600 air slide hopper. Now, these are going to share the same road names as the HO scale cousins. Same thing, we're going to offer the Missouri Pacific as a one car, lettered as a one car, but it's a two car set with a drawbar. Northern Pacific, Santa Fe, Delaware, and Hudson, Pennsylvania, and of course that Revere Sugar. Now, since these are Genesis, they are going to have Genesis details. Some of those details include not just the standard metal roof walks or the grab irons, but these are actually going to have cut levers and air hoses. So this is the most detailed N-scale car you can get. So there you go, N-scale guys. You got yourself a newly designed, upgraded to Genesis freight car. If you ordered our 13K tank cars earlier in the year, these will be on par with those as far as detail and performance. Another thing too, for you guys that are into the finer fidelity of N-scale, these will work on all codes of track. That means your standard code 80, your code 55, and even your code 40 rail. They'll have no problem working on those rails. And then last but not least, I've got one more N-scale item to show you guys. And we're also doing the FMC boxcars in N-scale. The 5327 plug door boxcars available in N-scale. They're going to be like their HO cousins. We're offering them in the roads that you see here. And we're also letting you guys have Prime for Grime as well. Now, again, we'll talk more about these on an upcoming Train Tuesday, but these are going to have some really nice details to them. They're not Genesis level, but they are going to have some nice details to them. These are perfect for the guys that want to take these on the road, say Fremo N or T-Track or N-Track, or some type of modular layout that you might take to a show. These hold up a little bit better than the Genesis, but they still have really exquisite paint and detail to them. And again, we're going to be offering these in the road names that you see here, 2 different road numbers each, as well as Prime for Grime. So there you have it. There is a busy month that we've got for you. There's a lot of neat stuff there. We tried to hit a lot of things that are for a lot of people. At this time, I've got some time. If you would like to ask some questions, the floor is yours. I will take a look and see if there's any questions on anything that we've covered here today. And let's see what we've got. I'm going to go back a little bit. Stephen Wagner's pretty happy about those 5327s. A lot of good comments. I'm looking for any questions. Somebody's excited about the Wabash. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done some Wabash stuff. A lot of people excited about the SP cars. Revenge of the Nerd says, I remember the SP. I just wish I had paid more attention then. Yeah, I think a lot of us can say that about a lot of different railroads. John's really happy about the data only. Yeah, that came because of you guys. You guys sending in your requests for our product suggestion email as well as comments. The more you use that, the more we use that. So definitely. Stephen Wagner with a little bit of background in case you can't make Train Tuesday. Revere Sugar was on the Boston to Maine and Boston's Charleston section near the Mystic River. That is correct. Which is probably why I'll probably have at least 2 of those. Now, in case you didn't know, everything that we've talked about here today, you can find at athearn.com. They are uploaded. Just go to our homepage, select the new announcements banner, and everything that we talked about is there. You can download the PDFs. You can take them to your hobby shop, or you can call your hobby shop or pre-order online, whatever you're most comfortable with. And everything we've talked about so far is ready for pre-order today. Let me go down here and get a few more questions in. After this announcement, whose Christmas list got bigger? I know mine did. I know a lot of people's did. We tried to hit a lot of different lines and eras just based on what we hear on our product suggestion email. Les says, almost forgot to order GP38-2 and UP paint. Forgot it's the deadline for pre-order. That's right. Today is the deadline for October. So don't wait. Depending on where you're seeing this, if you're on the East Coast already, it's getting late. So get to your hobby shop, before they close. Pre-orders are going to close by midnight tonight or whenever your dealer closes. Jake here wants to know about P42s and Prime for Grime SDs 60s and 50s. How soon? I don't have an ETA for you on that. P42s have been pushed to April of 23, if I remember correctly. We've got a few delays for various reasons, but the 60s, again, that's going to probably be first quarter of 23. Eric says it's all too modern, so apparently he's looking for Steam. Sorry we didn't have anything for you this month, Eric, but maybe next month we'll have something that you're looking for. Santa Ana Industrial Lead Model Railroad, addressing somebody in the audience saying flashing ditch lights are programmable in the decoder. That's a good point. They sometimes are. One of the things I do want to stress, and it's something that bears repeating, on our Genesis models, unless the prototype had alternating flashing ditch lights, the model will have alternating flashing ditch lights. So say Norfolk Southern. We all know Norfolk Southern has that feature. If we're doing a Norfolk Southern locomotive and it has alternating flashing ditch lights, then the model will. However, if we've picked a prototype that does not have that feature, they will not come from the factory with alternating flashing ditch lights. Now, sometimes you can set it up that way, but not all models are like that. So one of the things you want to remember is it is based on the prototype in the Genesis line. Let's see. I thought I saw a question on some of the guns. Tom wants to know if the Rock Island GP18s are delayed too. Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of, Tom. And I've got one of those myself on pre-order, so I haven't. I've been keeping tabs on it, but as far as I know, that's not delayed. I want to go back. Tom's asking about the Conrail former Reading units. Are they just repaints? Yes, they are just repaints. They were not rebuilds. The particular ones that we chose were basically just repaints, and you can tell it's early repaints because when we get into that, you'll see that each locomotive is slightly different. It wasn't. It was one of those things they just painted them up real quick, and each shop had their own version of the Conrail paint scheme, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Steve wants to know, can we get Reading passenger GP7s? Not in this run, maybe in a future run. And to be honest with you, those we'll talk more about it on Train Tuesday. Those particular Reading units, I think they were probably used for a variety of things, not just freight. The other thing too, since those Conrail units are based on the Reading units, they too will operate long hood forward. Let's see. Randall's got a pretty cool post here. He says, I've seen those Murphy recycling gondolas, Jim. They usually show up in the Memphis to Kansas City trains. That's cool. Christopher says, thank you for doing Western Pacific. We need more Western Pacific models. Yeah, we thought so too. Christopher, if you were one that emailed us in the product suggestion email, thank you. That's just proof that we are listening and we are looking at those emails. Speaking of product suggestions, Brad's got a laundry list of GP7s that he'd like us to do. Your best bet, Brad, is to go to Athearn.com, go to the Contact Us page, and select the Athearn product suggestion email. Now, we can't promise that we'll run any of those in the next run, but your chances of development considering doing that for the next run are much better. Let's see. I've got time for one, maybe two more questions. Let's see what we got. How about New England Southern? I'll have to rally all the local fans. Well, New England Southern, are we talking the SW 1500 or are we talking about the GP18? I've been pushing for the GP18. Jonathan, I'm sure you're aware that the GP18 that New England Southern had at one time was a former Rock Island unit, and since the last run of 18s we did were Rock Island, there's a possibility. We're also doing some work on the SW 1500. So if you've got pictures, please feel free to send that into our product suggestion email. Short lines, it's not always a guarantee, but we sometimes will put those short lines in there just to kind of spice things up. And we know there's folks that enjoy those short lines. Capital Region Railfan, good question here. How long before a model comes in do the product samples arrive? So everything that we're talking about today, the ETA, current ETA is December of 2023. Now, the good news for you is if you watch our social media, if you watch our Train Tuesdays, we will sometimes show you pictures of the production samples weeks before they hit the hobby shops, sometimes a couple of months before the hobby shops. And now that we're going back to shows, we'll actually have a lot of things that you haven't seen yet at our booth. And speaking of shows, we're going to be at Milwaukee in just a couple of weeks. So be sure to, if you're in the area, to stop by the Milwaukee Train Fest show. It's the second weekend of November. Myself and Mark will be there. We'll have a booth full of all kinds of goodies that you guys can take a look at. And then we're also going to be at the Amherst show in my neck of the woods, just south of me in Springfield, Mass. We'll be there as well. And as time goes on, we'll have some more shows that we'll go to. All right. Well, it looks like I've got a lot of you guys thinking, Some good questions out there. Matthew's happy about seeing more Jeeps. Any other questions before I sign off? All right. So once again, everything that you see here, you have until the 25th of November to pre-order with your dealer. You still have some time to pre-order anything that we talked about in October, and there's a bunch. If you forgot what it is, take a quick look over at athearn.com and check out all that we've got. If you're in the market for a GP38-2, you might want to go ahead and pick that up. If you need something a little bit more modern, something a little bit more horsepower, Dash 9s are available for pre-order as well. There's a plethora of freight cars that we're doing for October. So you only have a few hours to place your pre-orders. And if there's something that you really like that we talked about today, you have from today all the way until Friday the 25th to place your pre-orders. With that, I want to thank you for joining us here today. I will see you on the next Train Tuesday in a couple of days. Until then, let's get busy on those layouts. It is layout season. As you can see, I'm starting to work on mine a little bit, and I hope that you're getting some good work done on yours as well. If I don't see you at a train show the next Train Tuesday, I want to wish you all be happy, be healthy, be safe, and above all, high greens. Good night.